A fresh Rider Rewind is like a freshly baked bread. Absolutely delicious when it's fresh, it's something you just can't get enough of. But once it's a day or two old and slowly starts getting stale, you just wish you never even bothered to eat it in the first place, and just kinda wish you could have had it warm and fresh again, but when you put it in the toaster it just isn't really the same thing, and you start slowly realizing that really all of that is just a reflection of life and the universe as a whole, and it's a constant fight to remind you of the supreme futility of each action you undertake, which just kinda bums you out more and... Wait, what was this all about again? Oh, right, Rider Rewind. The show that drops every 3 to 4 weeks and covers the Rider drivers, henshin devices, and figures released or announced during that time period. Silly me, I forgot all about it. Anyways, let's get this bread. Let's start this episode. Man, I'm hungry. First up today is a continuation from last episode. Allow me to introduce you to the CSM card deck sets volume 1 through 4 from Kamen Rider Ryuki. Before I go through any of these, I should mention that, just like the CSM 4 Masked Rider set I covered last time, none of these are any different from the original release in the CSM V-Buckle and Dragvisor set from 2018. Genuinely not a single difference is included. Alright, now that we're all on the same page, allow me to cover the 4 sets of decks. First set is Volume 1, which comes with the decks and cards for Kamen Rider Ryuki Survive Form, Kamen Rider Raya, Kamen Rider Ryuki Blank, and Kamen Rider Scissors. A total of 20 advent cards will be included. Up next we have Volume 2, which comes with the decks and cards for Kamen Rider Knight Survive Form, Kamen Rider Guy, and Kamen Rider Emperor. A total of 16 advent cards are included. It may surprise you, but the next volume is Volume 3, which comes with these decks and cards for Kamen Rider Odin, Kamen Rider Tiger, and Kamen Rider Abyss. This volume has a total of 16 advent cards included. And lastly, we have Volume 4, which comes with the decks and cards for the following riders: Kamen Rider Verd, Kamen Rider Ryuga, and Kamen Rider Femme. This final volume will come with 14 advent cards. And that's all! Since we've already seen all of these a good few years ago, it's not that exciting, but hey, a CSM re-release is always a good thing. Unlike the last announcement being just a standard thing, this release is a major milestone. Introducing the 100th S.H.Figuarts Shinkocho Seiho release, Kamen Rider 1 from the movie Kamen Rider The Next. Yes, you heard that more than right. This is the 100th Shinkocho Seiho release. An absolute insane milestone for the series. A milestone it reached on its 10th anniversary, I might add. And honestly, what better way to celebrate it than to redo the first ever Kamen Rider S.H.F. I could honestly go on for hours and hours about this entire thing. The S.H.Figuarts line has had such a grip on me these past few years, and how they do the designs, evolution of the toy, what release they do, everything really. So to me, this was one of the most exciting announcements I've ever seen. Almost as big to me as a CSM Drive Driver would be, which, I do have to mention, isn't the real thing.
Yet.
But sadly, though luckily for you my beloved viewer, Rider Rewind is made to quickly cover announcements and releases, so let's do just that. This figure represents Takeshi Hongo's transformed state as Kamen Rider 1, as seen in the movie Kamen Rider The Next. The figure is insanely detailed, having every single scratch or letter crease you could possibly want from an S.H.F. This figure genuinely comes with so many details, it's like we've got a smaller scale raw Genesis figure. And to add to that feeling, the scarf material has been done with actual cloth and wire, so you can truly create those flowing muffler poses. The figure stands at 145mm tall and comes with a replacement head based on actor Masaya Kikawada, with a scan for the head, spare antenna parts, and a set of incredible 100th Shinkocho Seiho release interchangeable hands. Lastly, Bandai has also announced the upcoming S.H.Figuarts release of Hongo's bike, the Cyclone 1, which will release at a later date, making for the perfect pairing for the perfect anniversary. Such an incredible release as the last one is hard to follow up, but follow up we shall, with the S.H.Figuarts Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Double Fang Joker Futotante Anime Memorial Edition. Whew, that was hard to say in one sentence. To add to the celebrations of the 10th anniversary of the Shinkocho Seiho line, we're getting a re-release of the Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Double Fang Joker figure, but this time with effect parts as seen in the Futotante anime. The figure stands on 145mm tall and comes with a Fang memory, Joker memory, arm saber parts, maximum saber parts, shoulder saber parts, a special Futotante stand, and that oh-so detective-like set of interchangeable hands. Up next is the DX Hyper Immortal and Maximum Zombie Gashat release from Kamen Rider Outsiders, which honestly has to be one of my favorite Rider shows of all time. Of how it constantly keeps getting more and more insane with each new episode, it's genuinely so much fun. Anyways, these two new Gashats were, of course, used by Dan Kuroto to transform into Kamen Rider Gem Hyper Fumetsu Gamer, an absolutely insane looking and sounding form for a person who's just as insane looking and sounding. Here's how to use it. First press the button on the Maximum Zombie Gashot, then set the Maximum Zombie Gashot into the DX Gamer driver, initiating the standby loop. After that, you set the Hyper Immortal Gashot into the driver. Lastly, you press the top buttons on the Gashots, transforming you into the Gem Hyper Fumetsu Gamer form. After you've transformed, you can press the Hyper Immortal Gashots button again to release a finisher move. Oh, and if you just set the Maximum Zombie Gashot into the driver, you will transform into Gem Maximum Zombie, even though that form wasn't in the show. Hey, isn't that neat that I put that in? Lastly, by pressing the buttons on the Gashots, you will hear various voice lines from Kuroto Dan. Can't get enough of the Outsiders? Me neither. Thusly, I'd love to show you the DX Zero Free Progress Key and Zero Free Driver Unit, obviously also from Kamen Rider Outsiders. These two items are used by Arc and Zea to become Kamen Rider Zero Free. Here's how to use it. First, you set the Zero Free Driver Unit to the DX Hiden 01 driver, so it becomes a Zero Free driver. Then you open up the Zero Free driver. After that, you press the button on the Zero Free Progress Key and open it. Lastly, you insert the Zero Free Progress Key into the Zero Free driver, transforming you into Kamen Rider Zero Free. Once you've transformed, pressing the button on the Progress Key will play the Power to Print Everything sound effect, with 4 variations you get by pressing the buttons 4 times in a row. If you press the button twice, you will unleash the finisher. This release also comes with voice lines from Zero Free. These voice lines consist of Arc and Zea talking at the same time, and, in case you're wondering, Sho Hayami and Noa Tsurushima do reprise their roles for these voice lines, which is pretty neat. Know what I can absolutely never get enough of? Full-size rider props. So it's with great joy that I get to announce to you the full-size Kyokyoku Daiseiken Mumeiken Kyomu from Kamen Rider Saber. Wait a second, Michael. Didn't you already cover this, you fraudulent hack? I hear you saying. And, first of all, calling me a hack is mean. Correct, but mean. Secondly, yes I have. But that was a Chinese release, which was just a replica without any special additions. This one has far more going for it. Since I already covered the actual sword in the previous Rider Rewind, I'll just cover what's new. Slashing sounds, finisher sounds, 3 new henshin sounds for Falchion, Amazing Siren, and Tassel. Like many other releases, the sword also comes with a dialogue mode, playing various lines from Bahato, played by Masashi Taniguchi, Dazast, played by Koki Uchiyama, and Tassel, played by Les Romanesque Toby. That's his real last stage name, by the way. It'll also come with 4 songs that you can play by pressing the button on the back. Next up is another full-scale prop release. This time it's the Magnum Shooter 40X from Kamen Rider Geats. This being the weapon primarily used by Geats and any other Kamen Rider using the Magnum buckle, usually as a firearm except when it was wielded by Buffett at one time. Now, as you're all well aware, the Magnum Shooter had an ocean's worth of finishers in the show, all accessed by slapping a buckle into the holder. Sadly, you can't do that with this release. But in the spot where you'd put the buckles is a button that instead activates 15 different finishers based on various buckles. So, hey, at least you can still get the finisher sounds. Speaking of sounds, the Magnum Shooter comes with a total of 30 sound effects, some of which are the previously mentioned 15 finisher sounds, shooting sound effects, Geats' battle cries, the sound effect that plays when Buffa wields his Magnum Shooter, the Ponce aiming sound, and the entire conversation between Tsumuri and Ace from episode 48. Oh, and lastly, seeing as the Magnum Shooter is comedically long in the series, and this release tries to be as close as possible to that, we've got 2 barrels stacked to the Magnum Shooter, with the largest one making the Magnum Shooter 610mm in length, which is almost as big as my dick. And here we have the last item of the episode, which is a DX Kemi Nijigon from Kamen Rider Gotchard, this being the 101st Kemi, and the partner used by Hotaro to transform into his final form, Rainbow Gotchard. Here's how to use it. First, you set the 2 included Nijigon Kemi cards in the Gotchard driver. Then, you rip your newfound best friend in 2. After that, you set the Nijigon onto the Gotchard driver. Lastly, pull the levers of the driver and you'll transform into Rainbow Gotchard. Press down on Nijigon and pull the levers to unleash the finisher. And, just like with Platinum Gotchard, you can set different Kemi cards after transforming, but instead of unleashing extra finishers based on those Kemi, you summon them instead, which I think is really cool. And very lastly, you can push Nijigon's head in on its own and you'll hear various voice lines coming from them and Hotaro. And that's another wrap on a Rider Rewind, the 25th one if you'd believe. Anywho, if you want any of these things, or just hungering to spend money on tokusatsu stuff, swing on by the Toku Source, your one-stop shop for anything and everything tokusatsu related. And once you've shopped there, why don't you take a picture of what you bought and post it in Toku Source Discord? We genuinely love seeing what people get. Which is also where you can do specific requests pertaining to tokusatsu merch that you'd like us to stock, don't be shy. And hey, while I still have your attention, why don't you follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky? I talk Toku there and secretly plot to go to the bakery and buy bread. Links to the store, the Discord, and my socials can all be found in the description below. Anyways, that's enough of me for a while. See you all next time!